knowing my luck, why the freak is someone taking pictures underneath my skirt? I was like, what the freak? Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I very much so don't know why I decided to even come up with this video concept. I think that I may like enjoy embarrassing myself. Today we're going to be going through every single person that I had a crush on. Actually, correction, I probably am not going to be able to go through every single person that I had a crush on, because when I was in high school, I literally liked anybody walking, like anyone that ever interacted with me ever and like talked to me at any point in my life. Like I literally was like, okay, like this is my soulmate. Because of that, I can't go through every single person that I liked, but we're gonna go through the relevant ones that I actually, you know, obsessed with for quite some time. Hopefully this does not actually reach the people that I did like.
Oh boy.
We're gonna go from like grade order. I think first up, the first crush that I ever had that I actually have like a memory of. I know that I like liked people when I was in like first, second grade, whatever. But I feel like those were not like actual. I think the first crush that I actually remember having was this guy named Hayden in the 5th grade. I don't really know if I should say like last names or not. If that's too like you literally will be able to find this person. So maybe, I think we're just gonna start and say their first names. Sorry. Me, when I was growing up in my town, there was a moment where I would be friends with somebody and then they would become popular, and then I would no longer be friends with them. And it was not even my choice. It's just like I literally just got dropped by them. When I was in middle school, I would talk to this guy and I felt like we were pretty close. All of the friends that I had, they never actually like made it outside of the school. I had school friends and then that was it. So when I say close, I mean like close in what I consider close, because I actually talked to him during school like a lot. At the end of the year, we all had like yearbooks that we had that people would sign, but there was one teacher that I had that she like gave us all a paper to pass around the class, and then when I got back to you, everyone in the class should have wrote something about you type. And I remember on this paper he had wrote like that I was like his best friend or something, and he hopes that we can be friends for life and something like that. And I was like, what the? I was like freaking out. And then I feel like after him was like the most significant crush that I had throughout like a extended period of time, and his name was Cooper. For Cooper, this man I was so down bad for. Like when I say down bad, this was the only guy in middle school that I really talked to, like actually talked to. In middle school, I had terrible grades. Like I did bad all throughout school, but in middle school, my grades were really bad. We had a lot of classes together. Teachers, if you got bad grades, they tried to at least like protect your image a little bit. But I feel like everyone in the class knew that I had bad grades because of this sole reason. Most teachers, like when they hand you back your test, you're like, oh, okay, here's your test, yada yada. For me, literally every single time they would get to me, they would hit one of these. They would really make sure no one could see the grade. I do understand the privacy aspect, but because she did that, everyone knew like, what if she's not showing her grade like this, she must have gotten a bad grade, and they were all correct. I didn't want him to think that I was dumb, so I would like lie simply and just be like, yeah, I got like 90s, but most likely he for sure knew that I was just not school smart. We used to talk like all the time throughout middle school, and then high school hit and I never like talked to him again. I remember like this one was the one that really like hit me going into high school, because I would remember everyone would say like, the friends that you have now, like you're not gonna have them in high school, and I was like, no guys, like I'm gonna be friends with them for life. Definitely was not friends with them for life. So yeah. Okay, the next one. This was going into my high school year. I had a crush on somebody named Ty. Oh my, like if these people actually watch this video, this is going to be the most embarrassed I've ever been in my life. Like this is actually so embarrassing. I had a crush on this guy named Ty. I did mention him, I think in one of my videos. I don't remember which one, but I don't think I actually said his name, but this is who I'm talking about. Every day after school, we would go to the piano rooms in my school and we would play the piano. And by we, I mean him, because I had no idea how to freaking play the piano. I remember he was like experienced in the playing the piano field, and I was like, I ended up liking him, but I think he was probably my shortest like. Only at the beginning of freshman year, I actually liked him for the first semester, and then I had gone to a different school for second semester, so it was like, I'm not seeing him anymore. Speaking of a different school, this school I have kind of talked about before, but this is the freaking worst school anyone could ever go to ever in life. Like literally the worst possible school ever. I remember liking this one guy, and his name was Pearson. Now, this was probably the worst person that I could have even thought to like. Honestly, I didn't really like him. There was somebody else at my school that I liked, and I liked him, but I guess he didn't want me to like him. So he sent his friend to fake like me so that I would stop liking him. Confusing story, I know, but I didn't know this at the time. So I remember he would have like this kind of like flirty-ish relationship with me. I texted my friend one day saying, I need Lauren's number, something like that. And I was like, oh my gosh, like he likes me. I remember we FaceTimed for like hours one day. He was like, we're gonna go on this date. I was so excited. It was my first date ever. Days are leading up to the date and I'm like still super excited. One day I get to school and one of my friends was like, hey Lauren, I have to tell you something. And I was like, oh, like what, guys? It's like a text thread of her and him. He says, hey, I don't really like Lauren. I never really liked her, but I just didn't want her to like this other guy. I don't know how to tell her. I remember I was sitting in class reading these text messages and I just start crying. I genuinely could not believe everybody around me, all of the friends that I had, every single person knew. But me. I remember I could not do it. I was like, there's no way this guy literally played in my face. Simply. Pearson, if you're watching this, yeah. Freshman year, I also had another guy that I liked. And he was in my biology class. His name was Malcolm. And this guy, I think I mentioned him actually in my last video. I don't know why I had some like crazy little thing for this guy, but I could not put this man down. I would talk about him all the time. We sat at the same table, and shout out to my freaking biology teacher, because I remember I told her that I liked him and she made it a priority to have us sit at the same table for the entire semester that I was there. And I was like, I liked this man literally probably until like the end of my sophomore year. Like I don't know what was wrong with me, and it was like we didn't really even talk that much. I remember we did projects together and we talked a lot in class. It was nothing else outside of that, so I don't know why my brain was like, this is the one, this is my soulmate. Anyways, after him, this was probably my most serious one that actually like potentially was going somewhere at the time. This was actually the only one that I hung out with outside of school. Shock, we're doing big things now. He was my summer school buddy. Every time I went to summer school, he was in summer school with me. He was in a group of 2 other people that I was in. They were like kind of like a thing, so then I was like, okay, they're a thing and we're a thing and we're together. We're like a double date kind of situation. Like everything was going well. I remember he was the first person that I ever like held hands with, and I was like, oh my gosh, we're serious. Then one day someone comes up to me and says that he has been taking pictures underneath my skirt. Knowing my look, why the freak is someone taking pictures underneath my skirt? I was like, what the freak? So obviously if you get told that, your first reaction is like, okay, like I'm never gonna talk to you again. Because that was my first reaction. And when I said that, I meant like a year went by. All senior year went by. I talked to him like the last week of senior year. We were having a long talk. He was saying like, what are my plans, yada, yada, yada. And then at some point he was like, why did you stop talking to me? And I was like, because you're taking pictures underneath my skirt. And he starts crying. And then he was like, why would you ever think that I did that? Like I would never do something like that. And I literally felt terrible because I was like, why did I not ask further questions? Also, I thought this was coming from a trusted source. The person that had told me was like somebody that I'd been friends with and I've known for a very long time. So I was like, why would she ever say this if it's not true? You know what I mean? And then later on I figured out that they were dating at one point, and then I guess she saw that I was getting closer to him, so then she told me that he did that. I lost a friend, a potential husband. And then the last one that I think that I had was senior year. Now, honestly, after a certain point in high school, I stopped liking anybody at the school. I don't want to be with any of these people. I also saw how they were for like years and years and years on, and I was like, yeah, this is just, none of this is gonna work out between any of them. And this was the last one that I had, and his name was Vinny. I had been going to school with him for a lot of years. Senior year, we had a class together, and I don't know why I started liking him. It was pretty short term though. This video, I don't really even know what I'm gonna even make of it. I don't know what has come across me where I was like, okay, like let me make this video. Definitely interesting. Definitely going to probably hear about this at some point. If you were watching this and I did like you, sorry.